Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the Delta Green tabletop role-playing game rules by Arc Dream Publishing. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. Listeners should know that this podcast will include mature themes and scenes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, military organizations, and etc., which may bear resemblance to entities living, dead, or redacted, is completely coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your handler. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways podcast. I am your handler for this evening, Michael Diamond. My pronouns are he, him, and we're back with another Adventures with Osel, and I just can't wait to get to this portion of it. I'm so happy you're back. At the top of the show, as we always like to do, we'd like to thank you, the listener, and especially you, the Patreon supporter. If you'd like to check out what we have to offer, you can on patreon.com/theoldwayspodcast. And jump over to YouTube, subscribe to us there. You can actually see some of these agents live in person playing games and getting up to other shenanigans as well. And now, I'd like to start with introductions. To my right.
Hey, this is Miranda, and I play Dr. Aaron Weber, who was actually kind of excited to see Marcus again, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think he felt the love, so to speak, of, and then maybe felt the weirdness that you were somehow already packed. To Dr. Weber's right.
Hi, I'm your friend Nate. I play Special Agent Elliot Winters, analyst for the International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Office with the Department of State. I'm on my first vacation in over 3 years, thinking about trying to track down maybe some frozen yogurt.
That is definitely an option here in the Bay Area. At the end of the table.
Hi, this is Allie, and I played Special Agent Joanne Hart. I'm sweltering in my nicely tailored suit, even though this building is air-conditioned, but I may not ready to, reveal my bare, fuzzy skin yet.
Yes, you're not ready to reveal your true nature. We understand. And last, but certainly not least.
Hi, my name is Tegan Gilbert, and I'm playing Brett Hawking. Am I even still young buck at 30?
I mean, you're only as old as you feel.
Young buck?
When last we left our agents, they had traveled to San Francisco. And through the highways and byways and through the air had eventually arrived for a rough noon meeting at the post office, the University of Berkeley area post office. They had met a gentleman who let them in. His name was Inspector Baldwin, and he had taken them to a lunchroom of sorts inside this post office, where at the other end of the room, there was a man in a dark suit, older man, likely in his late 60s, if not older, who was staring back at them and had welcomed them to a debriefing. He'd done so by placing a box on the lunchroom table, a rather large one. And he now turns to the agents and says, "Let's get on with this debriefing." The inspector who walked in with you, Baldwin, walks over. He steps on the side of the table and sort of stands at kind of parade rest almost. Very formal. He says, "We had a postal worker who intercepted a suspicious package. And they intercepted it because it was leaking an oily fluid, chemical smell. Our postmaster, Jim Hardwick, called in the local sheriff's office. And they called in the bomb squad. All standard procedure. The dogs went crazy at the package smell. But they didn't alight on the package to indicate the presence of explosives. My partner, Rafferty, brought in a portable x-ray to x-ray the box. He gestures with a nod of his head at the box that's on the table. The image I got was a dog's head. It's wrapped in cold packs. soon as I saw the dog head and reported it to the local sheriff, the bomb squad packed it in. He told me I could enjoy the mess that I'd found. So Rafferty and I opened it up to see what we could figure out what the hell was going on. And that's when things got a little weird. You see, the dog's head, wasn't dead. It was moving. Just so we're clear for the agents here, there is no reaction from the older man in the room. He just sits there. It bit my partner on the hand, and it wouldn't release. And then my partner pulled his sidearm and put 6 rounds into the head. I think the only thing that changed, the only thing that could have changed, that dog released after being shot so many times. He's on medical leave now. He's at home on a boatload of painkillers, probably some scotch. He hasn't stopped shaking. But like I told Agent Drake here, Rafferty's a good man. He's not one to open his mouth. He's somebody we can trust to stay quiet. You see Drake, the man he mentioned, nod. Not to worry, Inspector, Drake says. I'm certain Rafferty's a good man. He understands the peculiar nature of this on a national security level. Baldwin nods, but you can tell, all of you can tell, even without any sort of human role, that Baldwin is concerned about his partner. I ordered everybody who saw the thing, including Postmaster Hardwick, I ordered them not to say anything until we know what's going on. It's not a story we can share. The post office sees lots of stuff. I mean, I could tell you stories about things we found in the mail. He begins, and you see Agent Drake sort of just raise an old withered hand. It's not necessary, Baldwin. I'm certain that our agents here have seen strange things. They have long memories and complicated imaginations. Baldwin steps over and I guess addresses the box. He stands next to it, look like he's going to open it. You can see that on the sides of this box there is a bluish fluid that has discolored some of it.
So as he steps towards the box, I'm going to step back towards my backpack, open the top, and make sure my gun is in sort of the top area of it in easy reach. And then I'm going to grab a styrofoam cup and pour myself a nice cup of black coffee and watch.
With some difficulty, Baldwin opens the box. Not that the box is hard to open, mind you, but he is trying to overcome the fear, concern, complex emotions that he has to deal with before opening the box. He gingerly cuts the tape and tips the contents onto the table. And that is a complete abomination that rolls out in front of you. It is the head of a German Shepherd. Its right eye has been blasted away by a bullet wound. The wound in the skull exposes part of the brain tissue. The jawbone that was shot out of its sort of right cheek area flops a little bit. It's not completely hinged anymore. The jaw muscles jerk back and forth spasmodically. It wriggles on the table as best it can, the head. This head has a bluish stump. The fluid that is there is sort of courses back and forth.
Wait, did you say the fluid courses back and forth?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gross. Okay, I hate it.
So that will require a SAN roll from all of our agents tonight.
That's a fail for Weber.
Okay.
42 under 45.
Yeah, and I've somehow succeeded with 39 under 65.
So, Dr. Weber, you're going to lose a point of sanity.
99 over 58.
So that's a crit fail.
Yeah. I'll just double it. I think that seems fair, so you can just lose 2. We should also probably talk about how far you are away from your breaking point.
Okay. Yeah, I'm plenty far. Yeah, I'm 8 from my breaking point. I can count.
Good. There's time. So for those of you who experience sanity loss, this is unnatural. That is the method by which you are losing sanity. So I would say react accordingly as your tenuous hold on reality is shredded at, much like the way a cat might do a couch.
So when it tumbles out, there's going to be a quick backpedal of like a dozen steps, and essentially until either I run into a table or the wall.
Yeah, there's definitely a table nearby. So we'll say you backpedal and you hit another table, another lunchroom table. And these are probably like a lot like public school lunchroom tables, like the ones that accordion close. And so you rack like your left leg on one of these benches, because of course there's no seats, they're just benches. And you sort of tumble over, ass over tea kettle onto the floor.
Okay, sounds good.
How's about our other sanity loss?
I kind of want Dr. Weber's sanity loss to lean into it more, like because Dr. Weber's all about dissecting these things. So I think rather than shying away from what's happening, much to the others' dismays, I think that Dr. Weber would get closer and like probably even like pick it up ungloved to examine it.
You get drawn in, Dr. Weber, and you begin to put your finger in the hole of the eye socket, because you can see just beyond that socket there's a blue tinge to the brain tissue that's there. And you're only stopped by a very stern voice to your left that says, "Agent, please don't touch this. At least not yet."
Sorry, I couldn't help myself, and I wanted to see if the blood was acid or if it was like the other thing I've seen. So I'm sorry. And I put it back down, and my hands are like covered in gore goo from this dog's head.
The dog jiggles at you.
Ugh.
The jaw snaps a little bit.
Do you have like a Kleenex or something?
He reaches over and points at the napkin dispenser, the one that's on the wall, that one that only dispenses the real scratchy towels.
Thank you.
I'm going to take a sip of coffee, and then I'm going to offer a hand to Hart if she would like it to help her up.
Yep, absolutely. Just heave me up.
And I'll point at the dog head with my cup and looking at Drake. So what's the job? Dog head bites people, so what? What are we here for?
You're here to determine the source and the nature of the biological anomaly. You're here to determine the involvement of the intended recipients of the biological anomaly. You're here to determine the threat to national security and public safety created by whomever or whatever is responsible for this biological anomaly. I'm not done, Agent Hawking. You're to neutralize any immediate threat with minimum exposure. No questions asked. If violations of federal law have been committed, you're to determine whether charges can be prosecuted without exposure to the public to information about preternatural or paranormal phenomenon. If those responsible can be brought to justice without exposing us or the existence of preternatural or paranormal phenomena is too great, alternative methods of resolving this are authorized. You find this all goes back to some kook in a shack, and you got to put 2 rounds in him and burn his whole house down, you do it. Baldwins are friendly, by the way. So it's important to remember that he's here to help, but he's not one of us. I'm here to give you logistical support, coordinate whatever necessary items you might need, and to try to close shop on this one. He stands up. Any interest in seeing who it was intended for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He stands up and goes into his jacket and pulls out 2 pieces of paper. One is much smaller than the other. One of them looks like a handwritten note. The other looks like a shipping note.
It wouldn't be so conveniently wrapped up that we would have a return address on this package.
Actually, you do.
Holy shit. Blackfoot Reservation, Montana.
He walks over to you, Agent Winters, and hands you a card. It has just a long, what looks like telephone number on it. Now, if there's anything you need, don't hesitate to call. We have friends everywhere. And he raises his right hand and says, "Be seeing you." And then he walks out of the room.
I look at the others. Well, I guess this is how they do it on the West Coast. East Coast, much less friendly.
Yeah. I mean, they just kind of showed up and didn't really say much. And we got a whole debrief here.
Yeah, they're short and not to the point on the east side.
Is Baldwin still in here? Or did he leave too?
Yeah, he's here at the end of the room.
Hey, now, Baldwin, you said your partner Rafferty, when he got bit, he hasn't stopped moving. Is this... What do you mean? Just the shock of it, or is that part of something that's happened because of the bite?
Man, I don't know. All I know is he's in a lot of pain. And he takes a bunch of painkillers. And he's trying to just, numb things. I can show you the rest of the stuff that came in the box if you want. So Baldwin brings over the original package. It includes 8 cold packs, a garbage bag originally used to wrap the head and packs together, 2 sets of surgical gloves, and he says that that note was here in the package as well.
Can I read the note?
Would you like to enter it into the record?
I would like to.
Please do, so that way our listeners at home can also enjoy it.
All right, so I'll go ahead and pick up the piece of paper and I'll just read it out loud for everybody. And dear Miss Lin Wei, this abomination was the result of experiments conducted at the Amalgamated Biocarb Incorporated chemical production facility on the Blackfoot Indian Reservation just north of Browning, Montana. From past experience, I know you can be trusted to do everything in your power to expose this obscene perversion of science and nature. My position here is precarious, so I must move cautiously. I will contact you soon. Every letter in this piece of paper is in caps. It's very clear, but do I have the ability to analyze handwriting for forensics?
Yes, you can. What's your forensics?
30.
It's a roll required.
Hey, y'all. That's a 22 under 30. That is a critical success on my forensics roll to analyze the handwriting. What do I know about this person?
Okay, so a critical success on that forensics roll is going to give you a few things. Person who addressed the package filled out the receipt for the 2-day express delivery. You can see that between the 2 pieces. You also believe that the person who wrote it was under mental duress when they wrote it. You also, with a critical, get a very important tidbit there, which is the writer is likely probably between 30 and 40. They're likely college educated and from the East Coast.
Is there any cool tidbits I get to talk about that like prove that that's the case?
Well, I mean, you can probably go off of a lot of the work at NCIS that you've done in the past few years that have trained you into this honed weapon for the federal government.
While I'm looking over the letter, I'm just going to go ahead and say East Coast, educated, young to middle-aged, and it's the same person on both sheets of paper. So yeah, I wanted to pass that information over.
That's real good, Brett. You got all that just from the handwriting.
Yeah. We have a couple of things also on here that I want you to think about. We have the initials of the person in Montana that accepted the package at the post office, a BR, Bravo Romeo. We also know they were on shift in the morning because that was when the package was arrived. So we should be able to find that individual, hopefully.
When you say accepted, you mean working at the post office, the person who accepted it there, or the person who actually took delivery?
This is the origin at the postal office, and it looks like it was written. The form part might have been written by the postal clerk, or maybe not. There's acceptance initials here. A Bravo Romeo in Montana who was on shift in the morning on the 31st of August. That person might remember that package. So that's a lead.
I do not want. Don't make me hop on a bus, get back to Montana. I just got here.
Hop on a bus. We're going on a road trip.
All right. That sounds better. What is this? You see this Fiona, the Ecotopian? Y'all ever heard of that? Ecotopian? Sounds like a California thing.
Thought that was weird. What's care of the Ecotopian?
Oh, so she's not the Ecotopian. Okay, well, so that's two local contacts then, Ecotopian and Miss Lin Wei, that we should check out before we head to, if we presumably we're going to Montana at some point.
Just an FYI really quick for our investigators. Driving from San Francisco to Montana is 22 plus hours.
How's our postmaster reacting to this display of investigative prowess? Just out of curiosity.
For Hawking's sort of dissertation on someone's handwriting, he's actually somewhat compelled. He does sort of have the same reaction that you do, which is, wow, that's quite the forensic analysis. But he's staying available. That's what he's trying to do.
And Drake just left?
Yep.
Guys, huddle up. It's weird that Drake guy left because this is like his last hurrah. Hurrah.
What do you mean?
Well, Marcus told me that this is his last job. And I said, is he retiring? And he said something like that.
Well, Marcus really got chummy with you. I don't remember Marcus being so chummy and talkative the first time we met him. What?
No, or the second time we met him.
Or the second time. Are you sure that was Marcus?
Yeah, I mean, he came to my house.
Must be getting soft.
It has been 3 years, Winters.
Yeah. So, but we caught up, but I just don't you think it's kind of weird that it'd be that guy's, like, he was like, we got to do it for that guy because it's his last job.
Well, he's ancient.
Yeah. But, like, you think you want to go out fighting, not sitting in the back. Like, I mean, we take him out for a cheeseburger. We do all give him the best day of his life, and then he retires or whatever.
Yeah, Aaron, is this our job? Is to kill him now? You're really giving me the take Drake to the farm vibe here. I look over at Hart.
Are we putting him down?
Marcus made it seem like he was, like, I don't know, like it was the end for him. So if this was like his last thing, you would think that he would want to be a part of that thing.
Maybe he's just tired, Dr. Weber. If he's been doing this for 2 or 3 or 4 times as long as we have.
I'm already fucking tired.
I think if I were his age and I've been doing it for this long, I would be tired too. Just let somebody else take care of it, and I'm here to be your point of contact. Information, supplies, I'll get it to you, but please don't make me go out in the field because I'm too old. I'm over this bullshit.
I got his phone number, Aaron. If you want to give him a call and explain to him your concerns about his lack of involvement in the direct activity. Maybe he don't know.
Because Marcus said that.
First of all, anything Marcus says, man, just throw half of that shit away, because that guy's about half dealing straight with you and half not. But maybe Drake doesn't know the plan. And man, I would like to never have one of these calls and show up. And I only got a week of vacation left this year. As soon as this tumbles in next year, I'm on unpaid leave. I can't afford this no more. Life's different.
Yeah. Okay, so who's flying and who's driving again? There's stuff we have to look into here, right? There's stuff we have to look into here, and there's stuff we have to look into there.
Well, there's more danger in Montana, so I think that Elliot and me should probably go and start driving that way.
So the men will be there when we arrive?
The cavalry, actually.
I thought they usually show up later, like us.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to take a moment because I'm going to need to buy a hat on the way.
Okay.
No, wait, don't make me get back in I just spent 22 hours at a smelly ass Greyhound. You're gonna put me back in a goddamn car.
You won't fly.
But that's neither here nor there.
Just fly. Just get on the fucking plane, Winters.
No, I will not fly. I will not fly.
What if you were driving?
Actually, Baldwin, you got a computer here hooked up to the internet. I could maybe just let me do something outside of a car for more than a few more minutes, please.
Well, look, we can all just look into this stuff here and then go up together. We don't have to split up. We can hang around here for a day. Whatever the fuck is going on up there is still going to be going on up there.
Baldwin is reacting a little strangely to the animated nature of your conversation.
Hey, Baldwin, this is just the old married couple of the group.
Right, sure. Listen, you need a computer? Yeah, there's one in the side office here you can use, no problem.
Look, Brett, just give me an hour or so. Let me just clear my head. Let me go do some research, and then I can get back into that. Look, I see those eyes, Doctor, and let me tell you something. I have spent a lot of time and a lot of work dealing with the fact that I see and feel things when I enclose myself in small spaces. It is difficult for me. And I have to work my way back up, and I've just enclosed myself. You've been where we've been. I just enclosed myself in that box. Every time I enclose myself in a box like that, I have nightmares. And they last too long. I need to do this in a more formal way. Things are different now, Doctor. Things are different for all of us, but they're different for me too. Just give me a second. That's all I'm saying. And then I'll be all ready.
Have your moment with your internet.
Okay, so you get escorted to a side office, not terribly far, by Baldwin, who shows you to the computer and says, after typing in a password, have at it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And assume he leaves, and I can close the door.
Yeah.
I do that. I push the chair up underneath the door knob. I sit down cross-legged and I start doing deep breathing exercises, try and quiet the static that is raised up in my head loud. And I spend about 30 minutes doing that.
Okay, that's fair. So during this time, what is the rest of Ocel up to?
Is the dog's head still here?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, then that.
Okay.
I want to actually use my agency contacts. Is that possible? I've got several names on this piece of paperwork, and whether or not they're real or not, I've got at least 2 proper names and initials that's a government federal employee at a federal institution where I know the zip code of the office. So I've technically got 3 contacts that I'd like to just try to reach back and see if there's anything I can pull up on them.
Okay. So we can go through some of that, certainly. I guess that's the question. Do you want to deal with that stuff first, or do you want to deal with the head first?
Fuck the head.
Okay. So let's deal with your agency contacts, Agent Hawking.
I got 40 in bureaucracy. Base is 10%.
Okay, so before you roll anything, let's take some fundamental looks at how that is done. It's a skill which allows you to manipulate the system, use it to locate and borrow supplies. So what are we going to look at first?
Criminal record on, or anything that's in the system federally on our local Mrs.
Fiona Lin Way?
Yeah. I want to see if she pops in any of the systems
Okay.
as having a record or something. I think is probably what would probably come up first. And then probably she would have like a residence that would probably be in federal records that would be at least pulled up, because she would have tax forms.
So as a member of NCIS, you have access to the National Criminal Information Center, NCIC, which allows you to research criminals and databases therein. So you make a phone call and you ask about Fiona Lin Way, and you begin to get a sort of breakdown of her criminal record. This is something you're going to want to take notes on. So Fiona Lin Way, Berkeley, California, does have a criminal record and is on file with the FBI as an ecological radical. She is employed as an editor of the Ecotopian. She was born August 3rd, 1971. The FBI has her listed of Scottish and Chinese descent. She attended UC Berkeley's journalism school from 1989 to 1992, when she was expelled following her conviction for burglary, grand theft, and felony criminal mischief. This conviction, your contact shares with you, says it stems from an incident in which she and 3 other members of the ALF. She broke into a research laboratory that was conducting experiments on sleep deprivation using primates. The ALF burglars stole the primates and transferred them to an unknown ALF members for sanctuary. She's also a member of PETA. In 1995, Lin Way was arrested on a misdemeanor charge of battery for using pepper spray on a man in a Berkeley coffee shop, whom she claimed assaulted her. There's some conflicting statements that you get on this that were given to police. The charge was eventually dropped when the victim, who gave a false address, could not be located. In 96, Lin Way was arrested for battery again after pepper spraying a plant manager at an Oakland paint factory involved in a labor dispute with immigrant workers, for which she received community service and a psychological evaluation. Your contact says this is where it gets interesting. The 96 psych eval was conducted by county mental health workers. And from everything I see here, it's sort of behind some additional red tape. If you want it, you're going to have to go after it through legal means.
So it's protected because it's medical information.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. Okay, it's an avenue. It's definitely an avenue. Can I keep that in my back pocket then?
Yeah, you can. Just, I didn't tell you.
All right, I appreciate that.
Okay, so I want to dive a little bit into what Elliot's doing, because he's fooling around with the computer, and I know what he's doing now, and so I want to get to that, and then we're going to get to Weber and the German Shepherd head that she'll be playing with. Elliot, you have quite a bit of bureaucracy, but that's not the role that I'm going to ask you to make. I would like you to make an int times 5 roll because you are putting in an hour worth of effort to do research.
Damn, I thought I'd finally use my computer science.
You'll get a shot. You'll get a shot for computer science in this.
31 under 50.
Fantastic. So I'm going to roll this d6 now. No reason why. So Amalgamated Biocarb Incorporated is an aggressive biotechnology research and production firm. It's publicly traded on NASDAQ under the symbol AMAL. It seeks to patent new drugs and chemicals that have applications to human medical needs, like nerve problems or gastric issues, that sort of thing. There is some lesser dealings that they have with animals as well. ABC also subcontracts its chemical and pharmaceutical production facilities, producing orders for customers around the world. The firm's long-range goal is to turn its own production facilities to the production of patented drugs that ABC produces. So ABC currently has 23 different drug patents pending and is particularly interested in drugs that affect the central nervous system, antipsychotics, anti-seizure medication. Its first commercial product, currently undergoing FDA review, is a drug to relieve long-term coma patients. ABC has also been seeking artificial neurotransmitters, which could be used to bridge the gap in severed nerve ganglia. Such a neurotransmitter would effectively end the suffering of millions of people who have nerve damage. And this sort of hits you a little bit personally, Elliot, because you have suffered from nerve damage before. You have fellow friends in the field who have suffered from nerve damage. ABC stock was issued in 1995 at $5 per share. And it's been as high as 57 and 3/16. At present, it's hovering in the low 20s. And your success reveals that analysts who are following the volatile field of cutting-edge biotech stocks predict that if ABC's coma drug is approved, the stock will hit a 12-month high of something close to 128, with a 3-year possibility of 260. It has 1 million shares in play. Its current market capitalization is about $23 million.
I'm hopping over to my E-Trade personal account and pulling up doing some insider trading real quick.
100%. So that is an hour that you spend in the computer room. Probably also downloading like a picture of Madonna, as is all right and proper. Eventually, Baldwin does come in and check on you, or tries to. And, that's where sort of he hits the brick wall that you've created with the chair. He knocks on the door. You all right in there?
Oh, yep. These computers you got here are super fast. It's much faster than my bureau's hookup back at home base. And I'm moving the chair out of the way, sort of dragging it over, opening the door.
You know how it is, Silicon Valley, and, we know somebody at SBC and they put in an ISDN, so that helps with the internet traffic.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I think I got what I need. Hey, you're in the area. You know anything about this Ecotopian? Is this like a newsletter or one of them weeklies?
Yeah, I don't know a ton about them, but I remember them being some, wildlife magazine for kooks and stuff like that.
Gotcha. All right, and I'll pick up a couple pieces of paper that I printed on the inkjet printer in the office. I'm assuming it exists. If not, I'm picking up the handwritten notes in my careful all caps handwriting, and I'm going to go back to the break room.
Okay, so Dr. Weber, your specialty is specimens. So I guess what I'd like to know is what kind of analysis are you going to attempt to do?
I am not a biologist. I feel like we've gone over this before, and I don't have any biology either, but I want to, this thing is still active, right?
Yes.
I want to try to find anything in it that maybe seems not natural. I want to try to take samples of both biological matter and maybe non-biological matter that seems like it doesn't belong in a dog body.
Okay, fair enough. So chemically speaking, as someone who has science chemistry, you could choose to take a look and try to do a chemical analysis on such a thing with those pieces that you take from that. What is Dr. Weber's chemistry and or pharmacy?
Chemistry is 80. Pharmacy is 40.
Okay. So you don't need to roll because your chemistry is so high. With the kit that you have with you, you are able to determine a couple things after about an hour. The head's cell structure is permeated with some sort of unknown chemical compound. It has this bluish tint to it. The chemical compound and its composition takes you a little while to break down. Not every chemical in it is identifiable, but it has some characteristics that I'll give you. Adrenaline, cerebral spinal fluid, and neural transmitters. The compound is 100% in your mind artificial. It has a characteristic blue color, which sort of tints all the flesh and biologicals that it touches. Okay, so I guess what I'd like to know from Agent Hart is, you have about an hour while all this stuff is going on, while, Hawking is on the phone, Winters has trapped himself in his own spank bank room, and then Weber is messing with the head. What are you up to?
I'm probably realistically standing behind Dr. Weber, just far enough that maybe this undulating blood and moving head isn't potentially a danger, but I've seen some weird creatures. Maybe there's something real weird about this too. I'm not going to bite this one though.
Give it time. So, do you have medicine or biology by chance?
I don't have any in science. So I'm just gonna look at it, be like, nope, I don't really know what that is, but I don't plan on eating it, so.
Fair enough. So after an hour, the team kind of comes back together.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, so this I checked out the head, and Dr. Weber's got that goo on her hands, wiping it with another towel. And hey, there's some weird shit in that head, like some sort of chemical that's just run amok in there. And I dug pretty deep and it's still going.
So, Doctor, you're saying there's something weird about this German Shepherd head that is still biting people after it's been stuck in this box? That's what you've confirming for us?
I am confirming that, yes, but it's there's some like adrenaline, spinal fluid, neurotransmitter goop that's all over in there, and it's definitely not. This isn't a thing that someone made this. I think we already know someone made this happen. Okay, you're right.
No. I'm serious. I'm serious. That company that's in the note, Amalgamated Biocarb, they are specifically working. One of these press releases I pulled out of there, they're specifically working on some kind of neurotransmitting goop to help folks deal with nerve damage and nerve pain, etc. Artificial neurotransmitters which could be used to bridge the gap in severed nerve ganglia.
That's a problem because there's neurotransmitters in this stuff, and it's a problem because those things shouldn't be firing right now. That dog's head shouldn't be alive.
So maybe it's working.
Oh, it's working. It seems like it's working real well, whatever they wanted it to do.
How about you, Brett? would you suss out?
I mean, like nothing about goo. Holy shit. Okay. So I just got off the phone. I didn't know if we wanted to run all of these names through the same people. So I didn't know if you guys wanted to take a different name. I tracked down some information on Miss Fiona, one of the local proper nouns we've got here. She's got a paper we can look up, maybe a website called the Ecotopian. So now we know what the Ecotopian is. It's a paper. I don't remember if it was a newsletter or webzine, but we'll take a look at it. Scottish Chinese descent. She got her degree in journalism from Berkeley, I think late 80s. She's got a couple of run-ins with the law. The first one looks like basic eco-terrorist stuff, breaking monkeys out of a lab. A member of PETA, member of ALF. Twice she was picked up for pepper spraying dudes. And the second time, looks like that charge stuck. They ended up running a psych eval on her, but that's HIPAA protected, so we could get it if it was relevant. But I'd say at least talk to her first and then pull up a psych eval, maybe. I don't know, unless you think that's risky. But that's the basics of it. I mean, she's in Berkeley. She's a violent hippie.
It's the right place for her. She's right at home. Brett, I could see talking to her, but then I'm also a little bit worried. Man, talking to these folks with causes, it just never goes right. They just get all passionate and all about it. And if we're here to quiet things down, last thing we need is some professional eco-terrorist with a record stirring a bunch of ruckus up. I don't want to have to kill her.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. That's why what we do is we take our local bio hippie and we send her in to go talk to Fiona buddy type. We take Weber. We send Weber in.
What?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I wonder if she has more of these animals there. Yeah, I can do that.
And maybe, because you never send someone alone, maybe we send her with backup. And I glance over at Hart.
So I was actually thinking about tracking down the postmark. The package went through, which means that it was sent. And chances are government buildings are equipped with, CC. Might be able to find out who it was, what they look like, how to track them down.
I completely agree with you, Hart. And because we know the time and we know the dude that's on staff, we've got multiple avenues to go check that up on. If the cameras are not available or if they're out or they weren't maintained, we have secondary and tertiary options. But I completely agree with you.
Cool, so no backup then?
I think you're safe to go with Dr. Weber, Agent Hawking. This is not something that requires 2 agents, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I'll play your younger bored boyfriend or something.
Younger bored boyfriend. Okay.
Yeah. You go interview. I mean, I don't think we go in there and go talk to her as law enforcement. I think you go in there
For science.
Yeah, you go talk to her as a co-equal in her field.
Uh-huh.
And that's your approach, because
Okay.
you like animals and she likes animals.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know anything about animals.
Yeah. Am I supposed to tell her we know that what she knows?
No. I keep forgetting you don't know how to do this.
Don't worry. Weber's never accidentally given someone more information than she should have. So this will be great. Actually, it'll be perfect.
No, you go in there and you do something like, you get buddy, you're like, you talk about something that you have in common.
Dead animals.
Or, okay, it could be
Birds.
you pose yourself as a member of a East Coast chapter of like ALF or PETA, right? You go in there and talking to her. You say you were in town. You read the stuff on that she posted on her newsletter, blog, whatever thing, and then you say like something along the lines of, "Hey, you're headed up to Montana. Do you know anybody up there?" or some shit like that. And then you see if she volunteers information.
Okay. I think I can do it. I think I'm good.
Well, God hope so.
Yeah, I trust you, Doctor. Baldwin, when someone drops a package like this off and it says Thomas Iron Shirt and such, I don't remember. Do they actually verify? Like with ID, or could I just put anything in my return address there and it'd be fine?
You could put anything in the return address that you felt was necessary, unless the mail is certified and then they have to verify, because certified mail operates a little differently. This was sent 2-day priority. And so really all the person was doing, whoever they are, were just...
Yeah, so Hart, your idea might be the only real direct way to confirm who might have sent this. I like it.
What idea is that?
Oh, to track down the postmark, where it came from, who accepted it, like realistically, who accepted it, meet them in person. And chances are there's CC up there that hopefully we could get a beat on to track down whoever this is. Because I get a feeling that this Iron Shirt name is probably not the real name of the individual.
All right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll call Montana. I'll work to requisition whatever videotape they have on file and have them send it to me. If I can get a hold of somebody today, even though it's Sunday, I should be able to. We might have the tape tomorrow.
Okay. And what about the person who accepted the package?
Yeah, can you get BR on the line?
I can see what I can do.
Okay.
So, as it's Sunday, agents, you're fairly certain that the Ecotopian is not going to be open, as it's a business.
No businesses are open on Sunday.
Well, the back door of the Berkeley post office was, so who knows, right? That being said, I think it sets a wonderful setting for the next leg of our investigation, which will include some deeper dives into legwork. So I want to thank our agents for coming back and playing again. We look forward to seeing where the investigation goes from here. Thank you, and good night.